take it. Come on.
Yeah!
The
Brothers have your back.
You now.
Well, you know, my dad started a small little office right on Maryland Parkway, 1511 South Maryland Parkway. So
small then.
I was driving up to a depot in, I don't know, like Beaumont, Texas, and the lawyer, the partner, he's like, you know, maybe you can take your own deposition in a couple of years.
What are your fears? What are some of the fears that you have?
Fears? Oh wow, getting deep on me.
CEO InMotion. CEO InMotion. CEO InMotion. CEO InMotion. Relax at the night, man. Program to receive. You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave.
Welcome, sir.
What's up?
What up, man?
I should have brought this.
Huh?
You got one. You're more
I got your
prepared.
water.
What's up?
How are you, man?
What's going on, buddy?
I shaved it. You got to go ahead.
How are you, buddy? Oh yeah.
Super good, and you? Oh, almost
yeah.
sent them to their.
Yeah.
What's up, man?
You did
We're
shave your
rolling.
head. It looks good.
Yeah,
It looks good, man.
I shaved it off.
You look like
yesterday.
my kids.
You
look
look
like-
the new look.
Yeah, that's the new look, man.
Except without the beard, man. Hopefully,
Uh-huh.
you know, like a woodpecker, man. Kind of.
It looks a little thin up there. A little thin.
It's thinning out, man. It's thinning out. Wait, so
Yeah.
you're on, man.
Okay.
We're
all
on.
right.
Just so
What's
you
up?
know, we're
All right,
always
it's good.
coming and rolling.
So my kids, my boys
Yeah.
went into the perms. A couple one of them has
They did
natural
it?
curly hair, but then the other one he wanted a perm. You know, so he got a perm. Because that's kind of like the end things now for the boys to have the curly hair, the perms.
They did. There was a few like teenagers right now that were taking pictures. I was like, man, that's so different. And like they have these baggy pants. Like it was just so different when I was, you know.
Where it's almost, it does full circle. You know, like when I was in college, the baggy pants
It
were
goes in
in.
a circle thing. Oh, there is that guy, little perm.
See with the bushy hair? The bushy hair? That's kind of the in thing now.
That's what's in.
And now if you're really cool, like my kid that's the junior, he shaved his head, you know, because now he's
Like fully?
Yeah, you like went short again, you know.
Yeah.
Because he's kind of done with the curly bushy hair.
I've shaved my head twice. One by I tried to perm it, or my girl at the time, but then she left the chemicals. Like it was naturally for people who have like curly hair to strain it, and it burned a hole in my hair. so I had like a full hole, and you know, I was in college. I was like 19, 20, and I was like, there's no way I can be in college like with this hole in here. So I had to shave everything. And then just recently, like a couple years ago, like I shave it, but honestly, it's not to cover the whites.
Yeah, it looks good though.
You look good, man.
That's good.
Huh?
I got a funny story about a shaved head.
Okay,
Yeah,
go for it.
It's so I'm in college. I'm at Cal State Fullerton, and it's during like the Christmas break, but we're still at school. We don't go home because we're still practicing. And one of our teammates, so we had a party at the house, but we had practice the next morning, and we all got pretty lit, pretty drunk, and I ended up passing out. And my one of our teammates, Raul, he passed away now of cancer, but good guy. But anyways, he thinks he's gonna do a funny prank on me, and he shaves my head from here to here. Here to here, just like a couple lines.
So it left you like that in front?
Yeah, so we wake up in the morning. And we're late. We're cutting it close to practice. I lived with some teammates. So before we hustle up, I put my stuff on. We live like a couple blocks from the campus. We fucking dart over to campus, and you know, I'm already dressed and my wrestling shoes. So immediately we're jump in the warm up with the team. And then a good friend of mine, who was my assistant coach at the time, you know, he was an NCAA Division I finalist. Laszlo, he's from Hungary.
Okay.
And he looks at me and he's like, Orlando, what happened? And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Oh, you didn't know this
No,
whole time?
I didn't know. You know, and my roommates, I could see, you know,
You just got up.
they
and
were
got
kind of
ready?
giggling, you know, but they're keeping it low.
But you didn't feel it like the next morning. You didn't feel like the breeze hitting your.
No, I didn't feel it. I didn't feel it. Like I said, we're late. I just want to hustle for practice.
Yeah.
And then I go to the mirror. I look, and then I realize I just have a line here. And granted, you know, I'm in college. I'm wrestling 118 pounds at the time, so I probably cutting a lot of weight. I probably weigh like 130. So I have to go and shave my whole head. So I bick my whole head, you know, down to the T. So then I look like I'm sick. You know, because
You look like skinny.
Because I'm wrestling. I'm all skinny. I'm all sucked up. People are like, hey, what's up? You okay? So yeah, I had the shaved head for a while, and but the story doesn't end because Raul, you know, he knew I was going to get him back.
You got him
I was
back.
going to get him
Yeah.
back. So it was his birthday. You know, this is now we're in the spring. Wrestling season's over, and he knew I wanted him. So he had like some of his old junior college teammates. When there was a big heavyweight, he was going to be like his protector, his enforcer, make sure that we don't get to him. So Raul, surely enough, passed out. It was his birthday. He gets lit. And the heavyweight, he's on the staircase. He's like protecting, you know. But we kept feeding. Some girls we knew kept feeding him more shots and shots and shots, shots.
Setting the
And we
stage.
knew his eyes started to get sleepy. And then, sure enough, he
Slowly.
just boom. He passes out.
Uh-huh.
I just push him to the side, go up the stairs, and Raul had a mustache ever since he was like 12 years old. You know,
Like
he's
true
the
Mexican,
kid,
he just
true
shows up
Mexican. He's
with a full
the-
legit thick mustache.
It's a
right? Like,
staple.
yeah.
It's a staple.
Oh my
Ever since he was
God.
like 12, you never shaved that sucker.
yeah.
So we went right for it. We shaved his mustache. I think I shaved it right in half, you know.
Like right down the
Yeah,
middle?
right down. No, just right here. Right here, all the way. So he had to shave it. And then I shaved one of his eyebrows off. And then I shaved here.
You got him on the eyebrows.
Yeah.
Oh, so
And,
you got him good.
No, I got him good. And then the next morning, his family comes to pick him up, his mom and his his nephews, and they're like, Tío, ¿qué pasó? Tío! You know, because they see he's got no eyebrows. He's got
and the eyebrow takes a while to grow back, man. Like
Yeah.
when you shave your head, you know, some people can pull it off, but you can't pull off one eyebrow.
No. So I got him. back. It took, it took a few months, you know.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I got him back. So that's my shaved head story, man.
One of my closest friends in Mexico, his name is also Raul, and we always talk about his mustache. He's got this perfect mustache, and his dad's Wimbledon champion. Like he's one of the Raul Ramirez. He's one of the best Mexican athletes of all time. Put him out there with like Julio Cesar Chavez for boxing. He is for tennis.
Tennis.
And he was known for having this beautiful, luscious mustache. He married a Miss Universe.
Oh wow.
So then when his son grew up, I remember I was like barely, my voice was changing. He already had like this nice, like,
Yeah.
you know.
That was like Raul,
that's
man.
It's the genetics. And when you said Raul with a mustache, I was like, man, that's
what made you
exactly
think
like my friend. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But yeah. Were you a prankster in high school, college years?
Yeah,
You get in trouble?
pranks here and there, we could pull off. Of course, we'll mess with your friends.
Yeah.
See what you can get away
But
with.
you never got in like trouble with school or anything like that?
Yeah, not so much school, I'd take care of my business at school, have fun while still taking care of my business, Had some buddies that would just have fun and couldn't take care of business while also doing a good job at school,
Sorry about your friend Raul. Do you still have friends from like back in the day, like from when you were like?
Yeah.
Who's your longest friend?
Yeah. So it's cool. I look at it kind of like in chunks. I got friends that I grew up with. From my neighborhood up in Reno. That I went to elementary school, junior high school. I still got a good group of friends.
You got chapters in the
Yeah.
book.
So I call those kind of like my childhood friends. And then I got like my junior college friends that I wrestled with at San Luis Obispo.
You still in touch with those
Yeah.
guys?
And then I got
Are
some
they
friends.
in good shape too?
Some are, some aren't.
You're like, what happened?
Yeah, I'm
I'll
probably
take
in
you
the best
now.
shape.
Yeah.
Then I got some friends from Cal State Fullerton, like my coach Laszlo, the Bulgarian guy or Hungarian guy. He was at my wedding. And then I
Okay.
had another good friend of
Oh,
mine,
that's
another
cool.
roommate who I was living with at the time of that story, who was also at my wedding. So they're my friends from Cal State
So
Fullerton.
those are close friends. Those
And
are
then,
close
and
friends.
then I got some friends from Ole Miss Law School, where I went to law school at University of Mississippi. I still got some friends from there. And then I got like, I call my adult friends, right? When I became a lawyer, and now I met friends, you know,
In
that
a
are
different,
lawyers, or, you know, my new wife, Natalie, she used
Great.
to be,
I met her.
Right?
She's awesome.
She's
So
awesome.
cool,
So
man. Wow. We still have to
she's-
go on that dinner.
We do. So she's British Cypriot. Her mom is British, and her dad's from Cyprus. But
Wow.
she, when I met her, she had 40 shows left at Le Rev. She was an aerialist performer. She
was a
started.
Cirque du Soleil rep. Wow.
She started as she opened the show as a dancer, and then she finished as an aerialist. So I've got a lot of circus friends too now, because through her I've met a bunch of people that are all in Cirque and
You've
Le
gone to,
Rev.
did you see her like performing,
Yeah,
and then you're
yeah.
like, I'm gonna marry that girl one day?
I didn't know that yet, you know.
But you did see her perform
I
before?
did see her perform, you know. I saw her perform. I saw her last show, and I saw maybe
Before you actually like met her, or you met her and then she
No.
was like, "Hey, come on over," like. Or
I
you see the
met her.
shows? Uh-huh.
I started dating her,
Uh-huh.
and when I started dating her, she said, "Hey, but you know, I got 40 shows left." She had already decided that
Oh,
she was
everything.
she was gonna finish up, and so I got to see her very, very last show.
Oh, that's
which is
cool.
pretty cool.
Was that emotional for her?
Very, yeah. It was cool.
Because they could.
But-
I have a friend who had a daughter who was raising her to get into Cirque du Soleil, and like, hey, there you are. There you are. Oh, it just switched.
It'll come back. It'll
This
come
guy,
back.
it'll come back
Watch,
at some
watch.
point. 8 seconds. Come on.
Yeah!
There it is. The
Brothers have your back. That's our best board. That
Yeah.
board's on all the time.
Yeah. So
But
you have it
anyway.
on a. They must not have that
Yeah.
many on the cycle.
There's only like 3 or 4 on the rotation. So
And
it's
so they
good.
put you over?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Uh-huh.
great. That's great. I'll do like a B-roll and we'll show that. But yeah, that's good. Because so what I was saying, like it takes so many years. You can't just like apply. You know what? This year I'm gonna go to Cirque du Soleil. Like it takes years. I'm sure from her, like when she was maybe little or younger, like how she
Yeah.
get started.
Well, her story's cool. So she was a dancer growing up in London, and then she went to a school. You remember that show Fame when we were kids? It's called Fame.
I didn't grow up here, so
All
I
right.
grew up in
So anyways,
Mexico.
it was like a high school, but for the theater, for drama,
Okay,
dance,
okay.
and art. And so she went to a school like that in London. I think called-
Performing and all
Yeah,
this. So it's a
the Brit
lifestyle. It's a
school.
lifestyle.
And then she performed on some cruise ships, and then she
Oh,
got
that's
invited to be in the show, The Win. You know, Steve Wynn wanted to open his own Cirque show at the Win, and he recruited all these people, and then they went to Belgium, and they were there for many, many months creating the show.
They train there, they perform there, and then they
I think
bring
they were there
it.
for like a year. And Steve Wynn would fly over there, you know, and look at the show, look at their progress.
The people performing are from all over the world.
Everywhere, Spain.
That's so amazing. And the
Cuba,
languages, like how do you like bridge
Bulgaria,
everything?
Everywhere. Polish. All those people who do the handstand. Those people are usually Polish.
The ones that are super strong.
Yeah, they can hold you up on
Yeah,
one
like the
hand.
guys hold up and they just
Or-
hold you super jacked. They look
Exactly.
like
A lot of those
chiseled.
guys are Polish, but they're from
Wow.
everywhere. They're from everywhere.
That's a whole different world. I mean, they live and they move. And so what happens when one show ends? They move to a different show, or they?
Well, a lot of their shows are on forever. Like the show she was on, I think was for like 25 years. Or I don't know about 25 years because she opened it 14. I think over 15 years.
They just recruit new people. Is that what we're saying? Like
Yeah.
the show continues and gotcha.
They'll get new talent. I just saw Absinthe over the weekend. That was fun.
Oh, did you see it?
That was good.
Oh, okay. It's
This is
good.
the second time I've seen it, but they change it. They mix it up a little bit.
Got it. So you guys have like a date night?
Yeah.
Every like once a week, you guys have a date night?
No, she would like that, but not quite once a week. 'Cause I got the kids. Yeah, I get my kids once a week. You know, I get
Like
them for a
once a
week at a
month,
time.
yeah.
When I get the kids, no date night.
Got.
Um,
For us, it's like Tuesdays. Like it happens to be like Tuesdays, like when I'm able to do it and try to make something for it.
Yeah.
And Sundays we do church every Sunday, and then we ask the Tesla. It has a feature that says I'm hungry, and it picks a random spot to eat, And every Sunday after church, we go to a different place to eat.
Wherever it picks.
Wherever it picks. And
All
sometimes
right.
it's been
What
great.
if it picks some place that sucks? And
Well, we've gone to some. So we went to one place where we didn't know how to eat the food. We were like, what is this? Like, we had to like crush some powder with like some tools and things, and we had to eat with the hands, and we're just looking around how to do it. But we've got some great Mexican. We've gone to some mom and pop shops. Sometimes it took us to like a bagel, breakfast. So it picks different things all the time. So it's called I'm hungry. Like it's kind of like I'm lucky kind of thing. But there's so much to see and do here in Vegas that after church is like our thing. So I
that's
try to
part
bond
of
with
the
them.
app with that, where you pick it.
Yeah. So like if I close this right now and I just put like
Say you need a lawyer.
hungry, it picks
That's
a
it.
random spot. Oh, okay. So then
Okay, hungry,
pick
right
whatever.
there.
Leticia's, I don't know, and then we'll go to that.
Ladies.
Leticia.
heard of
Yeah,
her.
me neither. So I really don't know. What happens if I put lawyer? Do you want me to try that?
Yeah. Want me to put it?
Yeah. If you want, it's probably safer. Yeah.
Y-E-R. Let's see. Enter.
Have you been in a Tesla?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Who's the Draskovich Law?
He's a criminal defense lawyer. He's good. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, no, I've been in Tesla. It's crazy how these open it up. Let's see it. Let's
To punch it?
let's let it rip. Woo! Yeah, man. Yeah.
It feels,
right?
huh?
Let it go.
Hey, I usually punch it at the end, so you do know about it. But I love I used to just
Absolutely,
punch it,
man.
and people would be like, "Oh man," like. And so now I just be like, "Hey, do you mind if I just like punch it?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure." And they have no idea that it's coming.
Yeah, no, punch it all you want, man. That's
Well,
why we're on the freeway.
Yeah,
That's
well,
weird.
it's rush hour, There's
you
an
got room.
ambulance if anything. Are you a crazy driver? Are
No,
you-
I'm not crazy, but a lot of times
You're a fast driver?
a lot of times I'm pressed for time, so I gotta drive fast to get. But you're within the limits.
Correct. Did you
know?
see so Elon Musk just retweeted a couple days ago, even yesterday, he's releasing the Roadster. The Roadster was the first Tesla he came up with, whatever, 10, 12, 15 years ago. And it was this really expensive vehicle, and then his own vehicle, he shot it to the moon, and it's rotating around the Earth on a satellite. His own vehicle with a camera. You can actually log in and see it. But he just announced yesterday that the new Roadster that's been announced since 2017. What do you think for the 0 to 60 speed is?
Well, I know the normal Teslas, I think it's like 3 seconds or something like that. So
Yeah,
I'll say 2 seconds.
under 1 second. 1.0. This will be the fastest car. It's got rocket boosters strapped to it. It's a co-partnership with his rocket company.
SpaceX.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's like, if you can even call it a car, because this thing is gonna take off. So can you imagine 0 to 60 in under a
Yeah.
second?
I like it. I like it.
That's not for me, man. I do have a friend who's a crazy
What's
driver.
this one go? 0-63?
2.9.
Oh,
This one
okay.
is the
Yeah.
dual motor.
And it's cool. You have the little,
But it's the 3, and yeah, it matches my color of my car and
I
everything.
like it.
and-
What is that? Purple?
Yeah,
I like it.
sort of like the.
Is it a
it's for the
matted
emotion.
purple, or has they got the shine?
For this one, it changes from from purple depending on the sunlight to like
Okay.
orange. It's the colors of the InMotion logo. That's how I started looking.
I like.
And then
yeah,
I
I like how it's so simple.
Yeah, and then
You
I
know?
can expense it as a business expense because it's basically an InMotion car.
Yeah,
an
and you
InMotion
get-
mobile.
And you always have everything.
No.
No, okay,
so
that's okay.
Yeah,
All
so the what he's talking about are the camera setup, and if you want to see, you can just tap the
Okay.
back of the camera,
Very nice.
and then you can see yourself if
All right.
it's high, the angle, whatever. But we're coming up to the strip, and sometimes I forget how amazing the strip is. I know you've been here for a long time, but every time I
Yeah.
see it,
In this
and
part, also,
everything
we're,
is new. It just
we're here
keeps
passing
growing.
the north end, and the north end of the strip is becoming really cool with Resort Swirl, Fountain Blue, Encore Wind. These properties are awesome.
And now it keeps expanding to Fountain Blue,
Uh-huh.
and they were supposed to do that MLB stadium back there, but now I think they moved it to
Yeah, that's not gonna happen downtown. I don't think.
what is it? Tropicana.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, the Tropicana. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But
So I live close to downtown, so it's nice. We just go to Resort World a lot of times. We just come in through industrial. Don't have to mess with the
I
strip.
love Resorts World.
It's nice. And then Fontainebleau, we've been going.
I've been there once only for a conference, and it's nice.
It's nice, right?
It's giving the win. You
I
know,
like it.
It's super
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, no, Vegas is incredible, man.
Yeah, it's a good spot. When you started here, like, did you think this is where you're gonna be your spot? That this is gonna be your family? That this is, this is the
Yeah.
legacy that you've continued now?
Well, my dad started a small little office right on Maryland Parkway, 1511 South Maryland Parkway. So
Small then.
When we first became a lawyer in Nevada, in Reno, but then when I moved away to college, he moved his office down to Vegas, and he'd only been a lawyer for a couple of years, just to open a small little office. I always had in the back of my mind, I'm going to come back to Vegas, but I didn't know, I didn't always know that I was going to go work with my dad. My brother.
His story is amazing.
My brother kind of had in the back of his mind, yeah, he's going to go work with my dad. I at first had the, I tried really hard in law school as a top 10%, and I figured I'm going to try to get one of these high-paying jobs in a big shiny building, and then I realized I did a couple externships or paid, internships at some of these insurance defense firms where they did what's called on-campus interviews, and I did one in Houston. I got paid really well. It was like 8 weeks in the summer before my third year of law school, and then they said I was driving up to a depot in like Beaumont, Texas, and the lawyer, the partner, he's like, maybe you can take your own deposition in a couple of years.
So he encouraged you.
Yeah, no, but I was like, couple of years deposition, because I was aware what it was. I worked at my dad's office, and I'm like, I don't want to wait around for that. So I realized from having worked at some of those insurance defense firms doing the billing, I don't want to do this, and then I clerked for a judge for about a year here in Vegas, and then after having clerked for this judge, Lee Gates, really awesome judge, then I said, you know what, I'll go work with my dad. I felt like I had a lot of confidence after clerking for a judge. You learn a lot,
Was your brother already involved or not?
My brother went to work with my dad for a little bit, and then, they kind of didn't get along a little bit, right? And then he went to go work somewhere else. Then I went to go work with my dad, and then after a couple of years working with my dad, Alex didn't like what he was doing because he was doing the same stuff I didn't like, the insurance billables, and so we said, come work over here, so then he came.
Got it.
Back.
So you kind of brought him back.
And then we started De Castroverde Law Group, Alex,
35 years ago?
Alex came up with the name, De Castroverde Law Group. No, so that was probably like in 2005.
So right? what was founded like in 1989? Was that when your dad started?
Yeah, so it's like kind of when my dad, in 93 was when he opened his office here in Las Vegas. So I drive by that office all the time,
It's still there?
Yeah.
Is it your building now?
No. And then what happened was, so when I became a lawyer, he was in that small little office, and I was like, man, there's no office for me. So we rented 2 houses down. Same landlord, had a little bigger space. Now I had an office, and then when Alex came a couple years later, he had the same issue I had. He was like, fuck, I don't have an office. So then we found another commercial building where our downtown office is at, and we bought that, and then we expanded it, went, built out towards the street, and went 2 stories and made that building real nice.
That's nice. And now you guys have grown.
Yeah, and now, so now we got an office in Tivoli.
I love that one.
Right, where you picked me up. Yep. I love that office too. It's beautiful.
Yeah. I almost had an office right next to you guys on the same building.
We'd be neighbors.
And now we're just neighbors from across. But that little, what is it, Regis? Like those like smaller, like, you rent those like offices.
Yes,
ones.
yes.
When I was kind of moving, I didn't know where to go. We could have met sooner, but things worked out.
I like
now I'm
your
right across the street.
now. Yeah.
It's basically.
I went there with JC. I like that place.
Yeah, it's nice. It's got the gyms. It's got the things that we need. I canceled my Lifetime Fitness membership.
Okay, so I was going to ask you. That's where you work out.
Yeah, I do. Although I do like the idea of getting into tequila.
Yes. And if you need a Pilates instructor, Natalie.
Well, now I know she's there, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, my wife, you know, she became like a Pilates like addict. Like we got married three months ago, and the whole year prior to our wedding, every day she went to Pilates. Every day, like 5-6 times a day. Sometimes at 6 in the morning, and she's not.
Does she use the reformer? Is it the reformer Pilates or
I think she does now, the reformer.
Okay.
Yeah. And now she moved up to the next thing. I would not know because I've never gone.
They have
the
a
one that's
super
like
reformer.
hanging over here, whatever it is, like.
It's called like the tower or something.
Okay.
Okay.
We both should know more about our wives, you know, but yeah. So that's, you know, there's a thing over there for the offices.
Is cool.
Yeah, and
So
this is Friday night. Like it's always like busy here in Vegas.
So I tell you, are you familiar with Vidara?
I've stayed there once.
Okay.
I didn't know it was.
So I lived in Vidara.
Oh, you did? So they were owned condos, right?
Yeah. So originally when they built like Aria and Vidara, you know, it was called City Center.
So cool. Like the area is so amazing. Every time I
Yeah.
drive
So
by.
initially, you know, they built it, but then I think kind of like the recession hit, and none of the condos were kind of selling, and but initially I think it was supposed to be like all condos. But it's mostly hotels now.
Now you can rent it as a hotel room. So
it's mostly hotel rooms. But I lived in Vidara for like a year.
Okay.
I lived there. I had a leak at my house. You know, because I had like an older house in the old neighborhood, Rancho Bel Air. It had like a leak, and the floors got damaged. And we ended up making a claim, and we ended up having to replace all the floors, and that was with my ex-wife at the time. And then she ended up replacing all the bathrooms, basically a whole new house. And initially it said it was going to be probably like 2 months, you know. So I said, you know what? Instead of renting a house, why don't we'll live in Vidara? I had 6 kids.
That's cool.
Or did I have 6? Actually. Yeah, I already had 6 kids.
Yeah.
So I had 6 kids, because that was in 2017.
But the Vidaras, are there just one bedroom? Because at least that's where I stayed. Did they have actual bigger?
Yeah, there's some bigger ones, but it still wasn't big. You had like a kitchen and a living room area and 2 bedrooms.
But they do your beds and the laundry and everything. That's included, right? Part of
all of it's included. All of it's included. And so we stayed at Vidara. We were there for 11 months. Everybody knew us. You know, they were like, hey, you know, we'd go down. The bellman were, hey, Iggy. You know, hey, Orlando. They'd be high-fiving the kids. So, you know, if we wanted to eat, we'd go across the street, you know, go eat at Cosmopolitan.
Yeah, there's plenty of places.
But I never thought it was going to be 11 months. I only thought it was going to be 2 months, 3 months. But, you know, the construction got delayed, and, you know, the floors backward. What ended up being 2-3 months ended up being 11 months, you know.
It's super cool, and they're building a new area, like a food, like I don't know if it's a food hall or something, but they're building something between the Aria and the Vidara right here. Let's see. And they got like new restaurant places. This whole area right here.
Yeah, like this area right here on Harmon is really cool with the city center.
And they're building this an entire new complex here.
Oh wow! I haven't seen. This used to be like the Hawaiian Garden, where the Hawaiian Gardens was, I think, right?
Yeah. Well, this looks like
this
it's
used to
going
be like a little Hawaii zone. They used to have
no more.
a little Hawaiian shopping. Yeah. No, it got taken over here.
Yeah, they're building this luxury like dinner, dining, like.
It's all gonna be retail,
mall.
commercial.
Yeah, retail.
No loft.
Yeah, it looks. It seems like there's no way to fit anything anymore. But then they just
look
keep
at the
adding
little
more
Walgreens
stuff.
they slammed in there.
Yeah, that Walgreens.
It probably makes a lot of dough.
Oh,
right?
It crushes. 24 hours Walgreens on the strip.
And a little Target.
Yeah, it crushes, man. It crushes. Have you been to that rooftop over here that we just passed it? Brewdog.
Yes, it's
like
hidden there.
Yeah, it's on the top. Man, the view on that place is amazing, and most people don't know. But like, if you know, it's got those beds, and you can just like lay, and then you can just see everything. I was like, man, this is like a.
When I went, there wasn't a lot of people there, though. It was kind of. Was there a lot of people when you went?
I went for a private event, so we filled it up. But yeah, if you went and there was no people, that's my point. Like, not many people know about it. It's like a hidden gem. I'm a big Michael Jackson fan, man. Big Michael Jackson fan. So I went to that. Have you seen The One, the show?
I haven't.
Oh, that's a good one.
I need to see it. You see the line there?
They canceled this.
So
Alcaraz.
Do you know?
What line?
Do you know
this line
that
right here?
line? So when the MGM first opened up, it was all open, and it was like a big lion, like the lion's
Not
mouth.
that one. Not that that's in there.
No, the lion was on the floor with with his
that's
mouth
sick.
open,
Uh-huh.
and people would just walk in.
That was the main entrance?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
but
cool.
I think some people, I don't know if it was some of the player, they were superstitious. They thought that was bad luck.
To get into the
Yeah, to walk into the lion.
lion's den.
So they ended up changing it. They closed it up, and now the lion's up top. But when the MGM first opened, it was a big.
That was the largest hotel in the world at the time.
I think it had like 4,000 rooms.
That's crazy. And now it's just like, oh, it's just like the MGM. Because things just keep popping here and there. And
So it's crazy. Like the south end of the strip, usually kind of like the happening. You got Mandalay Bay, MGM. You know, the MGM here. It's just New York. But now I think the north end of the strip is, definitely has the newer properties.
the other side is,
Yeah.
Did you know they're tearing down the Mirage? And they're building the new Hard Rock. They're building out like the largest guitar in the middle.
Oh no.
So that's gonna be a Hard Rock property now. So they're putting a gigantic
That I
guitar in the
knew.
middle.
But are they gonna destroy the whole thing?
Well, they're taking it down, the Mirage. Yeah.
All of it?
I'm guessing to build out an entire new hotel.
Oh wow.
It's gonna be in stages, probably, right? Because they gotta build the guitar and all the rooms. Yeah, man.
I like your jacket. It's like a Letterman's jacket.
JC gave me this
Yeah?
with my name on it. It's got the company.
InMotion?
Yeah, in the
How'd you
back.
come up with InMotion?
I was in a hotel room in the lobby close to midnight, and I was texting a friend like names for the company because I already had the idea of like I'm gonna put ads on billboards, and I started throwing different things, and like I just don't want to stuck to one thing, and I was like InMotion. I was like, okay, that's it, InMotion. And then I added the media group because it would sound like I was bigger than I was. It was just me. It was like a solopreneur thing, but I put media group. Oh yeah, that sounds like I'm a big deal. And I was thinking back at like how like Steve Jobs and what's the Microsoft's name? Bill Gates.
Bill Gates.
They talk about like they were in the shaft and they're taking these big orders, but they're just working in their mom's basement, like something like that.
Out of their garage.
Out of the garage. And I honestly was like, I'm just gonna make myself look so big. And you know what? Honestly, it worked. The first contract that I got, I thought I was shooting for 3 trucks in 1 year, and my friends were like, go for 5, man. Double that. I was like, 5 is too many, man. I have this full-time job. I can't do it.
Yeah.
And I closed something, and they asked me for 20. I didn't even have 20 trucks to begin with. I said, yes, sir. Media Group's got you. We'll take care of this.
Yeah.
And then hit the ground running, man. Try to get 20 trucks, drivers, contracts, banners.
But that's why you're crushing it, because you had that mindset as far, yes, somebody asks, I'll get it done. You figure out how we're going to get it done later. Just like, I got a lot of buddies, one buddy in particular owns a business, or just friends that have done good, and that's not like similar mindset as you, as far as, customer, you need this, I'm going to get it done. And same thing with us at our office,
You sacrifice yourselves for the people.
Get it done. We'll figure out how to do it,
Do you remember your first trial?
Yeah.
Do you remember like how you probably worked your ass off for that person?
Yeah.
Can you share what it was? Can you share what were you defending? Were you?
No, that's actually it's a super cool story. So, remember I told you, I just got done clerking for a judge for a little over a year, and then I went to go work with my dad, and my dad just happened to have a criminal client that was going to be going to trial. And it was a marker case. Do you know what a marker is? A casino marker?
I don't know, then no.
Yeah. So when these players, high rollers, when they come to the casino, they get extended credit. In the credit, they call it a marker. And it's really just a check. You know, they say, here, Chava.
Like a credit?
Yeah, here, Chava. Here, we're gonna give you 50,000 in chips, and you sign a check for 50,000. But it's called a marker.
Like an IOU. Okay.
Yeah, it's like an IOU, but here in Nevada, they treat the marker like a check. So if you don't,
It sounds very mafia, man.
So if you don't pay it back, they can prosecute you for a felony. You know, for passing a bad check. So
okay.
our client, you know, he had actually come to the Bellagio opening weekend. He was from Brazil, and he left owing $300,000. And he
with a $300,000 marker.
yeah. So,
Aye.
but when you know the custom is, and none of this is in writing. None of this is in writing. But the custom and practice is, high roller comes and they lose a lot of money, 6 figures, and if they're coming from out of the country, typically the custom is they're going to get some type of discount. You know, they're not going to pay it all back.
They're not
The host is
forced to all that. Okay.
The host is going to take some type of reduced amount, but typically the custom is, hey, you're going to pay it back within a reasonable amount of time. 90 days, whatever.
Okay.
Anyhow, he never paid it back, and what happens is that if you don't pay it back, the casinos then refer you to the district attorney's office to prosecute you for a crime, right? For passing a bad check.
But
So
he's an international guy. He can
Yeah.
literally leave the country.
But he did it. So
Good.
he was already in Brazil, and they're charging him with a bunch of felonies. So anyhow, I go to work with my dad. This trial's starting in a few weeks, and he said, "You want to help me?" I said, "Absolutely." And my dad asked my client, "Hey, do you mind my son helps?" He said, "Sure, no problem." And he was kind of a shorter guy, but very you're brave, because he could go to prison if he's found guilty. So I ended up doing the jury selection, the opening statement.
You did?
Yeah.
Do you remember rehearsing it and
my
writing
dad
it?
let me do the jury selection. I had no idea really. I never. they don't teach you that in law school, But I think what helped me is sometimes when you don't know what you don't know, and you just go up there and you're young and you think you're kind of fearless, and so I did the jury selection, the opening statement. I got to cross-examine, one of the state's witness, and we got a not guilty verdict.
Did you?
Yeah.
So he didn't have to pay?
Yeah, we got a not
How?
guilty.
If he actually owed the money?
Because once it gets referred to the DA's office for prosecution, they tack on 10% to the amount owed. So now they said, instead of owing $300,000, now you owe us $330,000. So
Okay.
So really, the opening statement. And I was thinking about it, and this applies still to this day in all our cases, our car crash cases. Kind of have to have a theme, a theme that the jury can attach to. So. And I remember thinking about, what the theme would be in this case. And I think I came up with it like the night before, or 2 nights before. But it was, hey, listen, there should be a case here. Definitely there's a case for you, a jury, to decide. But it's not a criminal case. And seated here, and I pointed to where the district attorney is. It shouldn't be the district attorney's office. It should be the Bellagio, right? The Bellagio. Should be the plaintiff in this case, because we don't dispute that there's a debt owed,
okay.
but we
But not from
certainly
him.
dispute what the amount is, right? And
The 330.
yeah, because he said, I don't owe 300. That's why he didn't want to pay the 300, because he said, I'm entitled to some discounts.
Got it.
And then instead of working with him and
They
figuring
tacked
out
on.
how much we're going to pay, they say, you know what, we're just going to refer you to the prosecutor, the DA's office, and now 330. So there's no question. There's a case. He owes the money, but it's the Bellagio. It's a civil dispute, and not a criminal case. And the jury, they agreed.
Does that mean completely they agree they have not to pay anything?
Not guilty verdict. And
you're good. That must have
mean-
given you some balls,
Yeah.
to start
Absolutely.
your.
And I remember when the jury was deliberating, and during the trial, the DA, they came back saying, okay, we'll offer you now. He can pay to the lower amount, whatever he agreed he paid. He can pay that. And I remember my brother saying, man, he's got to take that. He's got to accept that. He was trying to pressure. And our client was brave, you know. He's like, no, I'm not taking it. I'm not taking it.
You balls have balls.
He's ballsy, you know, because yeah, he could go to prison.
That's a lot of money.
And
You don't want to own the casino.
yeah, so that's my, you know, and that's kind of an anomaly, you know, because I did one other criminal trial, felony case. I did a lot of criminal cases young, but not, you know, that went to the trial level. Most of my trials are really car crash cases.
So most of them are now car accidents.
You know,
Okay.
like
Which ones do you enjoy more?
Well, you know what, man? What I like about the civil case, it's really, really important, obviously. But at the end of the day, it's just money, you know?
Yeah.
It's a little, when you're dealing, like I got a friend, you know, I think you met him, Nick, you know, who does criminal defense cases, you know, and he's dealing with your client. When you're dealing with a high-end serious criminal case and you're at trial, if you lose, you know, I'm walking out of the courtroom, but my client's probably going to be, you know,
Oh, I see the pressure.
going to prison.
Yeah,
so
the pressure is different.
You know, it's just an immense amount of pressure. It's different.
Do you sleep when you're preparing your notes and stuff, going over the case?
You know, the more prepared I am, the better I sleep. You know, if I'm still thinking about stuff, then, you know, I have a harder time sleeping. So yeah, typically now, you know, I've got it down where I can get, you know, sleep good, because that's important, man. Making sure you get a good night's rest.
Absolutely.
But I do lose weight during trial. You know, I'll end up losing like 5-6 pounds, and you could.
Because you're not eating, you're not.
Yeah, I think it's just because your brain's working. Your brain is. I'm trying. No, I definitely try my hardest. Eat breakfast. You know, Natalie will make me like a lunch. I'll pack a lunch and snack.
Nice.
That way, I'm not going out to eat. So I'll do my best to eat. I'll try to fit some workouts in. You know, I won't work out every day like I normally do, but I'll work out maybe twice, you know, during trial, twice a week to try to have some sanity. But I think it's just because your brain is working 24/7, and it, you know, when your brain.
Yeah, I can't imagine the
Takes
pressure.
up
Like
a
when you mentioned it like that, like if I lose, I just walk out, you know, go home, and you know I have a lot. But that person is not going
you
home.
know, so with the civil cases, it's a little different, you know, because usually now we're investing a lot of our money, right? So
you
know,
start off at the beginning.
and also it's the client. You know, at the end of the day, the nature of a lot of the cases we do, where, you know, someone has a hurt neck or hurt back, or maybe they had a surgery on their neck, you know, typically, a lot of times all or nothing, because the position the insurance companies take is, you know what, that was all degenerative. You know, that
happened before.
That was all just, you know, pre-existing. Because a lot of times, you have some cases are easier than others. You know, let's say you just break your neck in the car crash. That's an easy case, or easier. But let's say you break your leg and your bones snapped in half. But the reality is, you know, those are some cases, but a lot of cases, you know, somebody hurts their neck, you know, they try to go to physical therapy, they go to chiropractic care, you know, but they didn't have a broken neck. You know, they went to sometimes they'll go to the hospital, get negative x-rays, they get released. You know, at the hospital they think it's just a whiplash, but they don't get better, right? And then they get an MRI, and then maybe a year later they finally have a surgery. So the argument then, the insurance company always says, well, you know, it wasn't the crash, you know, it was pre-existing, or it was because he had a hard life, you know, or maybe if they had complaints in the past of back pain, they'll point to that.
So they do the research.
So those cases are scary because, you know, a lot of times it's either one or the other. You know, if the jury believes them, you know, you're walking out of there with, you know, it's a loser, you know, or if they believe us, you know, then we win the case, you know.
But they usually want to settle before, no? They usually give like a low ball to the client, because to a client, like anything, you know, it's substantial for them, but they don't know that they could go for the full amount, perhaps, of the insurance policy.
Typically the insurance company isn't going to pay, you know, top dollar until right before trial, or sometimes even in the middle of the trial. But then, you know, this last trial I think they hadn't offered anything, and then they offered $500,000 on the day that we, you know, on the day.
That's life-changing money.
The first day, well, no, I mean, he had like $400 in medical bills.
Oh.
You know, so it really isn't.
Oh, so the money goes settled. Obviously
You
gets
know,
settled
but,
too.
and that's a case that's been going on for a few years, and then we have, you know, that's day one of the jury selection. So, you know, not when we just rolled the dice and it ended up winning, you know. But yeah, the insurance companies, you know, a lot of times they're not going to make any offers or pay until, or at least give the best offer until the very, very end.
What's Orlando most proud of?
I don't know. I mean, I guess
Like you talk about that first moment, that first closing, you know, winning that first case. That I could see that's a proud moment. Like that's a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what's
another
special
thing?
about that is I got to do it with my dad. You know, and what's so fun, you know, what's so cool is that my dad, you know, he's probably like my age at that, or maybe a little older than me at the time, 50. But what's so cool is my dad actually had the faith and the trust to let me do it. You know, and the client. You know, but my dad always
Big client.
my dad always had like super faith in his kids. You know, he was always like the person, you can do it. You know, you put your mind to it, you work hard. Never pushed, you know, like with sports. Not one of those pushy dads make us do it, but always very supportive. You know, so that was cool being able to do that with my dad. You know, and then you know, I think what we've done, being able to work with my brother, and have a great team.
Big team, great
big team, great team, which is really cool. We think we have like a team of 100, and so that's really special. And yeah, I know my dad's looking down. You know, I know he got to see a little taste of what we started, so I'm really proud of that. And
It's a big deal.
cool that he got to see that, but I know he's looking down.
You planted the seeds. What does family mean to you?
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. Probably, you know, I look at the life in chunks. Yeah, I got my professional life, but probably above and beyond that, you know, my kids and my family. You know, obviously that comes first.
Family is great.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Here we are. Yeah. Now we're passing the CVS.
The crazies. I feel like this trip is one full character on their own. Let's see. I'm gonna turn these ones on.
What do we got?
JC said, like, when it gets dark, put these on, and he texted me.
Yeah.
Is this too bright for you?
No, that's good.
Can you
So
put
you
that
don't-
you in there?
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in there. Oh wait.
It's got like a
Yeah,
little.
it's like a little. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
better.
you have 6 kids, right?
Do I have 6
No,
kids?
you know I have 6 kids.
I know you have 6
I have
kids.
6
Yes,
kids,
yes.
and then Natalie has a daughter who's 15, Olivia. So we've got 7 together. You know.
You guys are busy. Do you know
Mhm.
everybody's birthday?
Yeah, I do. I know all the birthdays. You know, and my oldest is 18 now. You know, she's a beast. She's super. Got like a 4.4. No problem.
Oh, okay. So that's a big deal. So family for you means a lot. I mean, I see that, you know, brothers win. You know, it's all about
Yeah.
family. We treat you here like family, familia, and I'm Hispanic. You're Hispanic. Like we family is very important to us. I think it's a very different thing. And even when we don't get along, like I have an older brother just like you. I do anything for him, like anything,
Yeah.
and I have.
Uh-huh.
You know, and my brother was diagnosed with leukemia when he was 9 years old. 10% chance of like living, and I remember this because I was like 5 years old and he was 9, and I couldn't hang out with my brother. How far apart are you and Alex?
Like 2 years. He's
Okay,
2
so
years
you
old.
guys are closer in age, but so he's like four and a half. But then I remember like, you know, Nintendo was out, you know, in the 80s, and so he would play Nintendo, and I couldn't be with him, so I would just watch him play through like a little, you know, the door was open this much, and I would just sit on the chair and like watch him from outside because his immune system was so low.
Oh wow.
Where the doctors told my mom and my dad, like, he's got a 10% chance of living. He's 9 years old with leukemia, and son of a bitch, like he's the toughest guy I know. He's the definition of resilience, my brother, man. And
so he beat it, huh?
He had blood transfusions. He had to fly to Houston. We don't come from like family, so I'm not clear on how my brother survived like not just the surgeries but the procedures and flying into Houston, passports, like all these things. But I just remember that they used to like do blood transfusions through his like spine and yeah, and he's alive and kicking, but he's had like 16 surgeries and different things, man.
Still, or the surgeries were like
nothing to do with that. Like he had like some lumps over here, and then I think hit a car and like all these different things, and he's there, but he lives in Mexico, and so family is still very important. Every day I talk to them.
You used to have one brother?
One brother and one sister. I'm the baby.
I'm the baby too.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
yeah.
It's important, it's important to connect, and so that's what I was gonna have to get to you. Like, what does family mean? What does it represent to you? Because you guys represent a lot of immigrant cases, and they get separated from family. And
yeah, well, like I said, I think you like most of us, family is first. It's
you have a lot of kids, man. That scares me.
So no, don't be scared. You're right behind. You're gonna have kids, man. Yeah.
I just got a new dog, so I can kick that can down the road another year.
Yeah. Oh no! I mean, the kid, family's first. The kids, you enjoy more. I enjoy watching my kids play sports and watching like the professional sports.
So it goes from 18 to what age? Your kids?
So I got 18, 17, 15, 13, 10, 8. And then, so we got two 15-year-olds, boy, girl.
Got it.
Right.
Okay, so they're most teenagers. They're already older. You don't have like a 3-year-old, a 2-year-old.
No,
like,
eight
is the young.
My youngest.
Gotcha.
8-year-olds.
Yeah, you can talk, you can play, hang out. I don't know if so I when I was 24, I dated a mom, and she had 3 kids.
Okay.
she was super beautiful, man, and I didn't care. I was 24, and I kind of like I raised like her kids, man. Like,
how long did you date?
For like a couple years. Like the little boy was like, I think the first one was like 3, the other one was like 5, and then the other one was like 15. So I was only like 9 years older than her son, and that kid obviously like he's like, don't pick me up from high school. I don't want you to pick me up from high school, like to the mom, and obviously me too, but yeah, like for a couple of years, and I enjoyed very much the stage of when you can talk to them and teach them how to brush their teeth, and they laugh at the simplest things, and that, I remember that was very fun, like memories. But I skipped the whole baby, pregnancy, delivery, just I don't know if the heart wiping, like the whole thing. I don't know.
We skipped it for a time being,
For now,
until you. But I would give you a tip, and a friend of mine, a lawyer friend, gave me a kind of a tip when I was, because I had kids pretty young. I think I was like 29.
Yeah.
When I had the first.
Yeah.
And
you just rocked them after that.
A buddy of mine, Deanie Simon, he told me, change diapers.
Oof.
He's like, don't be
the husband.
Don't be the dad that brags about not changing diapers, and that's your job. I'm working. Like, change the diapers, get home, and get in the mix. And it was good advice,
I learned a lot from like JC, who's younger than me, but has 2 kids, and he also has 2 dogs. So he's like, bro, I have 2 dogs, you have 2 dogs. I have 2 kids. You have none, and you have more money.
Yeah.
Like, you have no reason for not having kids. And he's very good with his kids. And sometimes I get a chance to go and play like soccer with one of his sons. Like he's now 3, and I just enjoy it very much. It's cool. And I worked for Nintendo, so I used to work with kids all the time, and just teaching them. And I'm so always like, what their brains are amazing, and all my friends now have kids. When
are you having kids? Are you guys talking about it or not yet?
I just didn't want to have. I still I'm on the fence.
Okay, so you're still on the fence.
Oh
okay.
Yeah, I haven't wanted to. It's not like and she's 10 years younger, so there hasn't been like the pressure or the need or anything.
Yeah.
But now we are getting into that 5-year territory that if it's gonna happen, it has to happen in the next 5 years.
I mean, it's okay not having kids too, you know?
Yeah, I'll be 40 on St. Patrick's Day, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So, you know.
2 excuses to throw some back. Right?
Maybe be a lucky time, you know.
Right?
Yeah, get a kid on St. Patty's Day. But yeah, you know, I don't know if it's fear or something. Speaking of that, what are your fears? What are some of the fears that you have?
Fears. Oh wow, getting deep on me. Right? Getting deep. I don't know, man. I don't want to come across, I guess. I mean, with work, obviously, you know, there's always like a sense of, like a good sense of urgency, you know, or I don't know, or I don't want to call it like paranoia, but you know, you always have a sense of urgency that it's competitive out there, you know, so you always got to be, you know, on your A game, always got to be on top of it. So I don't know if you want to call it a fear, but definitely it's something that.
But what, that the firm would be overtaken by somebody else? You guys are one of the largest Hispanic, you know, in Nevada.
Yeah, you know, I guess I got a fear of complacency.
Of not growing.
Yeah, or just, you know.
You gotta stay in motion,
once
buddy.
you get complacent, you know, it's game over, you know?
Absolutely,
because it's so competitive out there. So, and then, you know, it's fearful when you have a big team, you know, you got to rely on everybody, you know, on your team members. You know, it's not me, it's not Alex. And we always talk to the team about that, you know. That
you're responsible for everybody.
If we win, it's not going to be because of me. It's not going to be. It's going to be because, you know, the person sitting to my right, to my left, the team members.
The collective.
But that's a little scary, you know. You got to be vulnerable when. So that's something obviously that we're cognizant of, but that's something we're constantly talking about with the team and letting the team know because it really is teamwork, you know.
When you have that many people, because you're having different offices, people, right? Like you guys do,
so we got office Maryland, we got an office at Tivoli, Eastern, and with a big team like that, you know, it's De Castroverde Law Group. That's the name on the building, but the reality is, you know, the person answering the phone, somebody else, the person doing intake,
everything, yeah.
Person, you know, doing pre-lit.
Marketing, pre-lit. Okay. Yeah,
so,
that's a big deal.
Yeah.
What about regrets? Do you have regrets?
Regrets. I try not to have too many regrets, but I'll try to, you know, not to look backwards, but just kind of look forward. You know, like when my dad died, one of the things I felt, you know, I was definitely very, very sad, but I was very fortunate. I looked at kind of the positive side that, you know, how many kids get to work with their dad all the way till he's 73 years old, you know?
He was still working when he...
Well, I mean, he was doing what he wanted to do. Really not working a lot.
But he, like, if you don't mind.
Yeah, just old age. You know, just a combination of things. You know, he had a bad heart, and then when you have the bad heart, it starts kind of taking a toll on the other organs.
And your mom?
But the good thing about my dad was, you know, so my dad, this is a funny story. My dad, you know, his side of the family had issues with the heart. You know, my dad's dad died of a heart attack when he was like 6 years old. His brother died when his brother was 37. So my dad always thought that he was going to die of a massive heart attack. So he always lived life to the fullest. They weren't the type. They weren't the type of people that were saving money. You know, like I had friends who I go to their house and they had like old carpet, old furniture, and you know their parents wouldn't go on vacation because they're all saving everything. Those weren't my parents. You know, they were going to Acapulco, going to trips, and Christmas we probably got gifts that my parents had no business buying, you know, because they should have been going to Bill's, but instead they want to make a good Christmas. But I remember my dad ends up going to the doctor. You know, he's got high blood pressure. They send him to the hospital, you know, because he's got like high blood pressure, 200 over something. It's probably like in his 50s or 40. They said, bro, you need to be admitted to the hospital. And he said, no way. You know, he ended up going to Acapulco with my mom. You know, he said, I'm not going to the hospital. I'm not, you know, they'd always recommended like a bypass surgery, you know. but he was very against it, you know, and so it ended up kind of catching up later. But because of that, my dad kind of lived life to the fullest, you know. It wasn't like the penny pinching saving people that were trying to live for the next day. So
I like that. People have that mentality.
So this is Allure.
Live life.
I lived in Allure for a year.
Are these apartment buildings?
Yeah, these are condos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so when I separated, I divorced about 5 years ago. When I went through my separation, I lived in Allure for about a year, which is funny.
So you like the strip area?
So I had 6 kids living in Allure, and when we would get in the elevator, you know, well, 2 of them would stay with the nanny, but I had 4 kids. They all have their little uniforms. They're going to Catholic school, and the people would look at me, and maybe 5. I think 5 were going to school one time when I was living there, and they would look at me, or they look at the kids, and they're counting, and they're like, "What the fuck?" You know. And I felt towards the end, I felt like people were looking at me like, "Dude, you're a dick," you know, living here in this high rise with 6 kids.
5, 6 kids.
You know what I mean?
They just wanted you to be like in a home outside of
it. Was just temporary, you know. I needed a place to stay, but it worked out really nice.
Did they remember like those memories?
Yeah, and
cool.
And a lot of them, you know, they're fond of it. It was perfect because it wasn't too long. But they liked it because it was a little bit like when we lived in Vidara. You know, living on the strip.
For a year each, you know? So they could say they've lived on the strip before they were even 18. And they survived.
Yeah. Where do you take this car to go really fast? Where's like the best
you want... Well, off of the freeway, man. You wanted to go fast.
How was it growing up in Mexico? Where you grew up in Mexico City?
I grew up in Guadalajara.
They say that's beautiful, man.
It's very beautiful. Second largest city in the country. After my brother got sick, maybe like a year or 2 later, my parents divorced. So I was probably like 7 years old or something like that when they divorced, and then so then my mom, you know, it was 3 kids. You know, single mom. So I grew up on the streets, man. Like, I would jump, you know, from one house roof to the top, and you know, just like, but my mom always like found a way to like feed us and get us food. And now that I think back, like I went to private schools. I don't know how it happened. You know, my mom was selling insurance, and my grandma.
So your dad was out of the picture.
My dad was like out of the picture. My mom, you know, my dad was a drinker. He drank, and so he wasn't too much around. And he died at 56 years old, man. So he died young. Like I was in college when he died. 18. I was 18 or turning 20. But so when I moved to the U.S., my stepdad, he's American. He's my stepdad. He a Jewish guy from New Jersey who's vacationing in
Guadalajara?
In Puerto Vallarta.
Oh, okay.
And then, you know, through just a bizarre way of actually, like, they actually knew each other. So my stepdad was married to my dad's like cousin in LA. I'm trying to make it as concise as possible. So my dad had a cousin who lived in the US, and her husband was this white guy.
Okay.
And so at some point, my stepdad knew my dad before he met my mom, because he knew him from you know, from the cousin or whatnot. So when my stepdad was divorced from his wife, and my mom was basically divorced from my dad, he remembered, like, oh, I remember the family in Mexico. They have family in Guadalajara. So he phoned my mom, who was the only one who spoke English of the family.
Oh wow.
My mom spoke French and English, and my mom answered the phone, and he came over. We visited, and I just remember like meeting this gringo, you know.
Yeah. And how old were you?
I was 9 when I met him, and he's been in my life ever since. So I'm 39 years old. So he's
so you guys are
he's
close.
my dad. Yeah. So
That's
I
cool.
call him dad, and he just turned 80 a couple weeks ago, and I was in LA, and he had been battling cancer, and they just pronounced him like cancer free, and it was a big deal. And they at 80 years old, you don't want to go through that.
You got some fighters in your family, man.
Yeah.
You got some fighters in the.
And so after I was 9, then my stepdad, being American, he's like, I have to go back to the U.S. Like I'm not staying here. So we moved reluctantly from my family to San Diego.
How old were you when you moved to San Diego?
I was 15, so I was the only one that had to be brought, into San Diego. Because
were you glad to go to San Diego, or were you like, fuck, man, I want to be back in Guadalajara?
I wanted to be in Mexico because my brother didn't come and my sister didn't come, and so it was just me. I didn't speak English. I moved to San Diego 2 days before high school started, and and I got in high school, and I went from English as a second language to
let's go.
English as a second language to advanced English, and graduating with a 4.3 GPA, got massive scholarships for university, and
that's cool.
And but it was very hard living in San Diego.
Was that hard being in high school, not speaking English?
Super. Can you imagine your hormones?
Yeah.
You want to talk to the girls. You want to. Oh, hold on. I want it turned off.
So this spaghetti bowl used to be just one lane.
This right here?
Yeah. So back in the 90s, right? It was just one. So you can imagine there's all traffic backed up. It's just one lane. And then
even with two, it gets crazy.
Yeah. Sometimes I wonder, right, when they do the construction, they knock down one because it's only one lane, and then they go through all the trouble to build two, and they only do 2 lanes. Why don't they do 3, 4?
Yeah, do they need to extend it out, or
instead? Because at some point they probably have to knock this down, do 3 lanes.
Oh, so it was knocked down and they added a.
No, so they knocked down the bridge. There was just the one. It was this.
But just one lane.
And then they built a new one with 2 lanes.
For me, learning English was more like a high school. There was this girl that I really liked, and I wanted to talk to her, and so I took drama my very first semester in high school as a temp. So, and I also came in as a sophomore in high school. So in freshman year, they're all the same.
Another brother wins.
Was it just now?
Yep. No, you see it behind the
U-Haul.
There
you go. There you go.
Yeah.
I was looking at this one first.
All right.
Hey, you're right next to the Mega Mart. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys get presence. The De Castroverde law firm is everywhere. This video is sponsored by the Castroverde law firm. No, and it's so because I knew I wasn't shy, but I didn't speak English, so I joined drama, and I had to do Shakespearean monologues on the stage in front of people. And I was like, man, I'm leveling the playing field right here, because I'm not nervous about speaking in an audience, but I can't speak for shit. So there was no even internet there, so I remember I had a dictionary and try to translate what Shakespeare, Hamlet monologues are, but that forced me to speak English, man. That forced me to get in there, And so
what plays were you in?
I was in San Diego. Hamlet. We were doing Hamlet. And I remember I couldn't say the word murderer. Someone who commits a murder.
How do you say that in Spanish? Asesinato?
Murder, no. Asesinato is the action of being murdered.
How do you say murder in Spanish?
Asesino.
Asesino. Okay.
Asesino is the murderer, yeah. And I remember my high school friends would make fun of me. You can't say murder, and I'd be like, and it was just tough, man. I remember leaving little things like that where they just kind of leave a mark. I'm sure you remember some things where you're in high school where you're wrestling, that somebody say something, and it just sticks with you, It just sticks with you. That drive.
I was in my 8th grade year in honors English. I was in a Shakespeare play, and it was a competition. All the junior highs went to this Shakespearean competition, and my honors English teacher is pretty smart. What she did, it was Taming of the Shrew. So I played Petruchio, the main guy. Is the woman who is really proper, and he's trying to woo her, get with her. But she was smart because I was really short, I'm 5'7" now, but I was really small, for my not only was I young in the 8th grade, you know,
I was
a year
the
behind,
tiniest too,
but I was
man.
small. So she cast me, Petruchio, and then Kate was like towering
tall
over
girl?
me. But I won like the best award, you know, best male actor, you know.
Oh, so you had
for
it in you?
Shakespearean. Yeah. I remember. I took theater, you know, so when I was in high school, I took drama, and I remember a couple other buddies, but, and I wouldn't say we were jocks, but I guess more like athletes, you know. I wrestled
You
in
were always
college.
like in
Yeah, I played, you know, football,
sports.
all the sports, baseball, but the drama in high school was all gothic-y. We were like the only kids that were like definitely the only jocks. Everybody was, you know, like gothic-y. You know,
Yeah,
they
with
wear
the
the
black and eyeliner, yeah.
and they made
The
us kind
emo
of
gothic.
feel like different, you know. So it wasn't like the best experience. So that was my stint with drama, you know. My freshman year.
I only did it for 6 months, man. Like,
But I wish I would have done it more.
You
know, I took drama in college, you know, but that definitely helps. I think with doing what we do now, being a lawyer, you know, because
like you get in front of the audience.
Yeah, just getting comfortable talking to people, you know. So yeah, I think I wish I would have done more of it, man.
For me, I did it just to learn the language, and then after that, it was more like, I'm out of here. I need to like play sports. I'm getting warm. Are you warm?
Yeah, you can put a little cooler. That's good. I love the big screen, man.
Yeah, it turned black after the sunset. Yeah, it's great. Oh, I should have done the full self-driving. You know, it drives itself.
Oh, nice.
It'll exit on its own. Like I don't even have to do that. Maybe I should be, you know.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Have you read the Elon Musk book?
Yeah, the latest
good,
one. Yeah.
right?
Well, from Walter
to it.
Isaacson, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I read it.
I
Sure.
listened to that, man. What was your takeaway from that book?
He's equal genius as his equal, you know. What's the word I want to use? Relentless pursuit to the point where it causes harm to himself. Like he puts himself in situations. Imagine the level of when you get to that success, but you still want to continue, and it's no longer for the money. You can't buy more yachts. You can't buy more, you know, meals. You can't, you know. It's just it's a certain level of like I need to like progress and move, and I learned a lot about it. I mean, I've been following the company for. I ordered my first Tesla in 2014, and I waited 3 years for it.
Oh,
And
shit.
yeah.
That's a fucking long time, man.
Well, I ordered the Cybertruck 4 years ago.
Wait,
I'm still
that's
waiting
the
for.
funky looking truck, right?
Look at my screensaver.
Yeah.
4 years I've been waiting for you.
That's crazy. And when you buy that, did they tell you, Java, your likely wait time is 4 years, or?
No, so I just put the reservation for it,
Okay.
and it was only $100, but 1 million people put a reservation in 24 hours. They made $100 million in 24 hours, just out of a reservation of a vehicle that didn't exist.
So if you don't get the vehicle, that you lose the $100.
Pretty much, but there's 2.5 million reservations right now.
Yeah.
So they just started releasing these earlier, like in Q4 of last year. This year, a lot of celebrities now are seeing with them. The Kardashians and you know
So do
the
you think
pop
you're ever
stars.
gonna get yours?
This year for sure, I'll probably get mine.
Okay.
I was one of the first. I mean, I ordered, but imagine they got 2.5 million reservations, and then they're only doing about 250,000 in a year. So you have to wait almost 10 years to clear the backlog of people.
Yeah.
That's if nobody else orders. Now, of course, not everybody's gonna go through the
All right,
process.
but this is where I ask you: do you know anybody at Tesla?
I used to know a girl
Right?
that worked there, but she used to
Or
work
does
on
it
the
not?
interior design.
Maybe it doesn't work like that.
It does not, dude. Elon Musk doesn't fuck around. He
Yeah.
makes everybody pay the same price. He pays for the car. You know,
Yeah.
Hertz came in and they Hertz, you know, the car rental, and I don't want to botch the numbers, but it's either 30 or 40,000 cars. And he's like, I'm gonna buy 40,000 of your Teslas because I'm gonna put them on my fleet. I want a discount. And Elon Musk said like, nope. Like,
Yeah.
fuck it. You pay full price for all 30,000, or I'll sell them to somebody else. And
Did Hertz buy him or no?
they bought them, yeah.
Okay, they still bought it.
And then they put a bigger order, but more recently, they started selling a lot of those Teslas because people don't know how to. They just don't know how to drive it. They're
Which
very unique.
Teslas?
Model 3s,
Oh, the
like my
okay.
car.
Yeah.
Because you know, there's no ignition, there's no key. They don't know how to turn it off. Like, you know, push it. Where's the windshield? Like, just different things. How do you charge it? Huh?
How do you turn it on?
There's no on and off. So
Is there a button?
No, nothing. So I walk in and the car turns itself when I open the car. When I open the door, and when I leave, it locks and it turns off automatically.
Oh, wow.
So there's nothing to it. It's attached to my phone. And the key, like if I don't know if I have my wallet here. The key, like when I go on a valet, is this. It's the credit card.
Oh, shit.
And you tap it on the side of the window. Like, how the fuck are you gonna know that if you know?
Yeah.
If
I
you-
didn't know that.
Yeah, if you don't know, yeah. So it just says Tesla, you type the key. You tap it on this side and it unlocks. And then you gotta put it on the thing right here so it stays on. So there's a level of education that if you don't know it, you just don't know it. And but you know, you can play music. You know, kids love it. It's got the fart sound. It's got you can play Hulu movies. You know, watch games. It's really cool. You know, I got one for my girl and she loves it. It's also the safest car ever tested.
Car's nice. Yeah. I listened to his book too. Yeah, it's
What
like
did you
20
think?
hours.
Yep.
And,
I listen on 1.5 speed, man. Do you listen on regular speed?
Normal one. No, I just do the normal. I got a friend that listens even slower than the normal. I just go, I just do the one. But yeah, obviously, like you talked about, obviously what drives his purpose. You know, that his purpose is beyond money. You know, but beyond that, man, what I took away was just how maniacal he was to getting shit done, and you're not taking no for an answer. How many times?
Maniacal sense of urgency.
But kind of like when you said, you're, for example, they said, man, I get 20 trucks, you know, and you're like, fuck, I can't do it. I mean, his mindset was, I can do it, you know. How many people, seemed like the theme over and over in the book was, no, we can't do that, Elon. No, I'm sorry. No way. That's impossible. But he was just like, no, yes, we can do it. We can do it. And obviously, I know some examples where you know overreaching never got. But even if he didn't get to the certain goal that they always exceeded.
He's
what
always
they said
late.
Could be done.
He suffers from positive bias.
But exactly.
So he's thinking like that Cybertruck that's been for 4 years. He said it's gonna be out in 2 years. It's late. That full self-driving feature. It's been taunted for years. It's so good, you know. I obviously I don't use it, and I probably wouldn't use it with you on a podcast. But the car does drive itself, like from point A to point B. Anywhere we go, I don't have to touch the steering wheel. Oh, where am I going?
That's nice. But the practice, the good practice. I mean, takeaways. I just know with my work, push a little further. Like when people say, "Nah, we can't do that." Yeah, we can.
This way. Where are you?
I'm over here, first floor.
Mm-hmm. Some people are wired to say no, it can't be done, and from what it boils down to, Elon Musk, from my understanding, you just got me where it's straight, left,
straight.
It boils down to this, like
just go closer to our building.
If it's not by the laws of physics, then it can't be done. Like until we get to the point of laws of physics, then you can tell me no.
Listening to that book, I was
good.
like, fuck, I wish I would have taken physics in.
He's fucking smart, man.
I never took physics in high school. Did you take physics?
I did. I remember doing a project on the bicycle kick-up for soccer, like the dynamics that it takes to do a bicycle.
So you're pretty smart to do physics.
I mean, I took it in high school. I mean, I love numbers. I love math.
Okay, so you're a numbers guy.
Yeah, I do like numbers and math. And I can go this way.
Listen, when you're in here, make sure you don't push the pedal like real fast like that.
Listen, when I'm with you, I'm not trying to get into a car accident while on camera.
Yeah, so this is like a maze here. So go around.
Do you guys ever see like cases where like, no, I didn't run the stoplight, and then you guys get the footage and be like,
Yeah.
listen, we totally saw you like
The
eating a
best
cheeseburger.
Is, the best is when you get the footage and you know, and it says what your client says it said. You know, it's not good when you get the footage and it's bad.
Yeah. So
You know?
so sometimes your own clients don't tell you the truth. This is
Yeah,
your business, right?
whether or not they're lying, or I think sometimes can perceive things different. You know, what do they say? Like a lot of times, witnesses, you have 9 people. They all supposedly see the same thing, and they all give you different accounts
stories
of what happened. Right.
That's it.
Right. So I think I'm on the other side, man.
You got it. Well, this is super cool, man. I'm glad I'm opportunity to do this with me. I
Yeah.
know you're busy. You're a cool lawyer, man. You give lawyers the name, like it's just you're a cool person, man. Appreciate you very much.
Absolutely appreciate you, man.
This was one more episode of the CEO InMotion. I'm not gonna punch it in here. I almost did it, but I saw a lady coming out of the car.
Don't
now.
punch it. Don't punch it.
Is this good?
Yeah, we're good, man.
All right,
I can
man.
walk. Chava, man. Great.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. We'll stay more connected, more in touch.
Absolutely, man.
Say hi to your brother. Say hi
I
to
will.
Nelly. Say hi to everybody.
Say hi to JC.
I will.
All right, brother.
All right.